We should have the utmost respect for the elderly, since they have experienced more in life than we can ever know. That's an additional phase in every individual's life. It has been the responsibility of society to diminish the worth of the elderly, limit their opportunities, and even define their identity. Elderly individuals are frequently perceived as being near the end of their lives, but you should know that there is laughter, love, sorrow, and a lot of work hidden behind those lines and gray hair. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. The protagonist of this tale is a young woman named Catherine, who traveled to the US on an exchange program. Her parents were prosperous Italian businessmen who wished for her to have the opportunity to live and remain alone in a foreign country. She'd had the luxury she desired and protection from adversity her entire life. That's why the girl was a little grumpy and impolite to individuals who she thought were beneath her. Given that their success was the result of both of them working hard and making numerous sacrifices, her parents wanted to teach her a lesson. Their desire was to prevent their daughter from becoming a spoilt heiress who wouldn't know how to respect the staff of the firm she would eventually lead. They then devised a scheme. They would enroll Catherine in a public school. A middle-class family would adopt her, and her only resources would be enough to cover her living expenses and food. Her parents thought that this would help her view the world differently. Having always had everything at her fingertips, Catherine was about to experience what it was like to live simply enough to have a respectable life, devoid of the comforts her parents had previously provided for her. Despite Catherine's adamant rejection of her parents' proposal, she was forced to accept it because the alternative would have resulted in even greater punishment. After preparing everything for the journey, the young lady's parents accompanied her to the airport, where they bid her farewell, hoping that she would return a changed person with more compassion in her heart. Catherine landed in the United States, still struggling to grasp why her parents wanted her to do this. She thought that was incredibly harsh and unfair of them, but what was about to happen would completely alter her opinion. When she got to the Brown family's foster home, there were two boys her age, named Gianluca, and an 8-year-old girl named Villa, along with the parents. Catherine and Gianluca did not get along right away, since he thought Catherine was a spoilt youngster who had upended their family's routine. He knew he couldn't annoy the guest, because the money his parents got for having her there would go toward his little sister's medical care, but that didn't mean he had to like her. 4 people living in such a small house startled Catherine, and to make matters worse, she had to share a room with Villa. This was akin to her gravest fear. She was taken aback by how drastically things had changed from her previous experience the following day at high school. Her having so little money to spend was uncomfortable. Because of her parents' influence, she had gained popularity in her nation. Thus, having her close by was beneficial. However, nobody knew her here, and nobody genuinely wanted to be friends with her due to her terrible attitude. For the weeks she stayed there, she was by herself. Catherine was not enjoying herself at all. She was occasionally made fun of for her haughty demeanor and barred from social gatherings like parties. Even though she knew how harsh teenagers can be, she was still missing the point. Until one act altered her entire perspective. She simply believed she had to get through the year before returning to her usual routine. One day, Catherine was listening to music on the bus ride home and didn't pay attention to anything going on around her. An elderly woman got on the bus once. She didn't sit down when she realized there were no open chairs. Because Catherine was youthful and strong, the other passengers on the bus anticipated her to give up her seat to the elderly woman. But that didn't happen. Their looks turned away from her in disapproval. Why doesn't that girl get up? How repulsive. Has she not been taught etiquette? These were some of the remarks that started to get around. Feeling the looks, Catherine became enraged. Although she was unaware of what was going on, she realized when she saw the elderly woman standing. But she didn't care about that. She wanted to be comfortable and detested using public transit. "I'm not going to get up for an old lady. I got here first," she was thinking. However, the stares and remarks got more intense, and eventually, the man seated next to her remarked, "Aren't you embarrassed, girl? You don't even offer the elderly individual standing there your seat. You're not polite." Opinions were also expressed by others. Catherine was really shocked by this. That was not how she had ever been addressed, and definitely not with such harshness. She got up to give the elderly woman her seat, embarrassed. Seeing all of this, the elderly mother murmured softly, "Daughter, you think you own everything when you're young. However, you realize that your beliefs and your identity as a person are the most significant things when you reach my age. Don't allow negative attitudes to rule your life. When you age with kindness, humility, and respect, your body will age better." Catherine was really taken aback by such insightful remarks. Such remarks had never been directed at her, especially following such a public disgrace. She started to think back for the first time on all the times she had treated people badly, made fun of them, and even insulted them back home. She came to the realization that she had nothing to offer without her parents' wealth and status. Catherine thought about that for the remainder of the bus ride. She realized that, although she had been incredibly fortunate, others had not been as fortunate. It was the first time she had felt the need to change, and she knew she could make that change when she got back home. She started to shift in attitude as the days went by. Her strongly set habits made it tough at first, but the Brown family noted the slight changes. She started being more courteous and offering assistance around the house, something she never would have done in the past because she was used to being served. The final several months that Catherine was in the United States really did cause her to shift significantly. Her experience had been the tipping point that made her realize how terrible it was. So, she was finally able to become friends with little Brevia and Gianluca, with whom she especially created a bond that went beyond friendship. The young woman had changed greatly from when she had first arrived, and the Browns were thrilled to see this since they knew that it had been their aim for her to go so far and change for the better. The girl had truly grown to value that family. Therefore, she was devastated when she had to leave for her own country. Despite the challenges of the past year, she managed to acquire a really significant insight. She had never forgotten the old woman's words. Living with kindness, humility, and respect brings better consequences. She thanked her parents, who were waiting for her, for giving her the chance to learn that crucial lesson as soon as she touched down in Italy. Her parents were ecstatic about everything. With the money her parents gave her, Catherine transformed and succeeded in creating something significant. Little Brevia's illness served as her inspiration for starting a charity that helped ailing children and low-income families. Her parents' wealth and notoriety were put to good use. "You have to live with kindness, humility, and respect" is a profound statement that she lived by for the rest of her life, even after graduating from university. You'll move on as long as you never forget how far you've come, all you've faced, and the victories you've had. Show consideration for the young, the old, and yourself. As deserving human beings, we should all be treated with respect. Kindness and humility will frequently guide us down better ways. We appreciate you viewing the story. We sincerely hope you enjoyed it, and if so, please share your thoughts in the space provided below. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.